There you go.
And as you know, Andre, it is now the 60th birthday of the Ford Mustang, and this is one of the most iconic cars in the entire world. Now, Nathan, luckily, got to go to, I think, Charlotte yesterday and actually be at the birthday party, so we didn't want to step on his party because he published a video showing the special edition of the 60th anniversary. It was, by the way, introduced, I think, at the Chicago World Fair in 1964, April 17th, as a 64 and a half, right?
Yeah.
And we're lucky enough to own actually a California special from 68.
Yes.
And this brand new Ford Mustang GT. So we thought in this video we'd have a little bit of fun and show you what Ford gave us as a birthday present for the Mustang, because there is a cool new feature that we got over the air.
That is so awesome, because I love customization, and Ford is doing it with this car.
And you know, I have to congratulate, we'll show you in a second what it is. We'll walk around and answer your questions, but I have to actually give it to Ford because they could have made it a subscription and they just gave it to us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you gave them money for this car, right?
Well, we did. We bought the car. And this car we got in the middle of winter, so we've owned it about a month and a half now. We've put on about 2,000 miles, and we got it at a $5,000 discount. It was like $50,000. It's GT, obviously, not manual. Sorry, automatic. And the dealer, Brighton Ford, gave us a $5,000 discount when we traded in our 2013 Mustang GT Ford, because in the middle of February in Colorado, nobody wants Mustangs.
I know, so that was a good time to buy.
It was a really good time to buy. And I got to say, I love this car for one reason. You want to pop the hood and I'll show them?
And maybe two reasons, right? Because we have a special exhaust system as well,
We
right?
do, yeah. We've got everything you need, nothing you don't. Now, what makes this, of course, so special is what's under the hood, and that is the 5-liter Coyote.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and here it's making 400, usually 80, but because we've got the active exhaust, 406 horsepower. And what they did for the current model year was they gave it dual throttle bodies.
Yeah, this is so cool. It's just symmetrical looking, and it looks, look how big these are.
Yeah.
Breathing air.
Yeah, and here's a really cool thing. We debated this, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Through Ford, what you can do is you can actually supercharge this at the dealership for $10,000, and it'll produce over, this is going to blow your mind, Andre, 800 horsepower. So you could take it to Ford, and under warranty, they will install, I think it's the
Whipple, right?
I think it's a Whipple.
3-liter Whipple,
yeah, supercharger, and then you'll be putting out 800 horsepower that is warranted. I seriously thought about doing that, but as you recall, we had a Hellcat, and here, I'm gonna come over here with me for a second.
Yeah.
I know you guys have muscle cars with 800 horsepower. It's kind of undrivable. So anyway, it's wonderful. Well, kind of undrivable, because that means you also have to do a whole bunch of other things, which is first and foremost, you have to get bigger tires. You probably have to get more life insurance, because you will put it into a tree the first time you floor it, which I almost did with the Hellcat. And you know, at some point, 486 horsepower for this chassis is plenty. And I kind of feel like, you know, enough is enough. I kind of felt like the Hellcat that we had, the Challenger, was a little overpowered.
Well, yeah, and it had standard tires, and that wasn't enough tire.
No, and
I mean, yeah.
And while this is a GT, it doesn't have the performance package, so it doesn't exactly come with like meaty rubber. Let's see what we got here. We've got Continentals, and these are, where are we at here? 245, 45, 8, 255, 45, 18. And let's see what we got in the back. Let's see if they're a little bit bigger. I bet you that they are, where is it here? Where is it hiding? 255, 45, 18s. Yeah, they're the same size, which is nice because you can swap them.
You could rotate them.
Yeah, but not nice for traction. Those are it's just not enough rubber on the road. Especially, heck, it's barely enough for
this.
For this, almost 500 horsepower.
And we've been doing a lot of drag racing with this car, so you could check it out. I have my laptop with me because I want to see your comments and questions. We already have a comment from Tim Thomason, so thanks, Tim. And Tim says he's not happy about the 60th year anniversary Mustang.
Yeah,
I'm not sure exactly what you mean, but
it's kind of a sticker package.
Well, so you have wheels.
Yes.
You have special badging, right? So you have badging on the outside, inside, special colors as well, right? And they didn't announce pricing yet, as far as I know.
Yes.
what would you like to see? I mean, if you wanted a 60th anniversary car.
So, I mean, I hate to say this for all you Mustang fans, but Dodge kind of did it right with the Hellcats, right?
Wide body?
Yeah, they did a wide body. They did, so many different versions, right? Like Jeep does the same thing. The jailbreak version. There was just so much different.
And cool names, too.
And cool names that got you, like, not just stickers and not just bigger rubber, but actually significant changes on the car. And I think Ford needs to do that. Obviously, there is a dark horse version of this, which we drove. And it's kind of the off-road track-worthy
Which is a cool name.
It is a cool
name.
name.
And a cool car, yeah.
But I sat in it, and to me, the Mustang has always been about cruising. And Ford has now started taking reservations for the GTD. I'm saying that right?
That's right, yeah.
Which is this like
crazy bonkers version of it.
Yeah, it's like Ford's version of a Porsche GT3 RS, right? It's this supercar. We saw it at the auto show, and I think that is now taking some of the performance away from the Mustang and putting it into a platform that is specifically designed to go around the corner. Not that this can't go around the corner. The last GT500 that I drove on a racetrack was incredible. I was terrified of it. $120,000 with all kinds of carbon. And maybe that was the reason. Maybe Ford decided that they just got a little out of control, a little crazy. So 45,000, for this much horsepower.
That's a lot of bang for your buck, dude.
It's a lot of bang for your buck, yeah.
Let's show them the exhaust. We can't really, rev this car indoors.
I'll start it up, but I love this exhaust.
But you have to listen just maybe to the idle, right?
Yeah, so it's got this active exhaust. You've got normal, sport. There's two other modes.
It's probably race.
Yeah. Anyway, it's quiet, normal, sport, and race. And on race, this just shakes the ground, Andre. And I love the baloney cut of the exhaust pipes, the way that they work. And of course, this is it a true quad exhaust? Can you see, or is it just?
No, I mean, it's a dual system, and just the tips are coming out as quads.
Yeah,
exactly. But this is what Mustangs are known for, is their unique sound.
Right, I'm gonna start up. It's gonna shake the house.
But please don't rev it, because I want to
breathe. I'm not revving it. Our neighbors will get so mad at us.
Yeah. There's a quick question from Einfeld. What happened to your Grenadier? Because we had, in our fleet, we had the Ineos Grenadier off-roader.
You want to tell them? So what we do, guys, is we buy cars, we do a bunch of videos with them to test them in the various ways that we can, and then we take the money and put it into the next car. So what did our Grenadier turn into?
It turned into a Ford Ranger Raptor.
That's right.
Bam. But the Raptor is not in the studio right now.
No, we traded it on the Ford Ranger Raptor because we were done with the video series. And frankly, we watched the numbers of viewers. So I think like the first video in that series got like a couple hundred, 300-400 views. And then by the end, we were down to like 40,000. At that point, the rule here at TFL is the vehicle has to pay for itself. And we don't collect cars. We don't have a museum like some other YouTubers.
This is a loaner vehicle.
This is a loaner vehicle.
Of course, we have the Tacoma still.
And so we buy some, and then if you guys are interested in them, we keep them longer. And if you're not interested in them, then we move them on. And that one got moved on. We lost, how much did we lose? We lost like $8,000 on it. There you go. The life of YouTuber.
Do not use that business model.
Do not use our business model.
Please.
Please.
Okay.
But that's okay. I mean, over time, those videos will get viewed and we'll make some money back. All right, can I show you the cluster, Andre?
Yes.
All right, so Bluetooth
Let's see
is off.
if it works.
Yes. All right. So I'll start it up here.
I love the heartbeat of the system when it turns on.
And then you hit the Mustang button, and then you hit OK, and then you hit cluster theme. So right now there's a normal theme, which is thanks to Ford for taking our location, which is the one that it comes with. Then you can go to sport, which looks like that. You can actually watch a change over here, and you can go to track mode. So that's the track mode one, calm, and then the cool one was this one. It was a Fox body, 87 to 93. And when I woke up this morning, Andre, I had the classic 67, 68 Mustang.
No way.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, I love that.
Is that cool? That is so cool. And I thought Ford would charge you like a subscription for this, but they didn't. So thank you, Ford, for doing that.
Dude, that is so cool. My mother-in-law used to have a 69 Mustang,
Yep.
and her gauge cluster was very similar to this. And of course, we have our 67, right?
Yes. So,
So
that's the same. That's
yeah,
the same as our 67
that's amazing.
California Special. And then, obviously, we don't have the fanciest one, because if we had the fancy premium one, this would be one giant screen. We have two different screens. So we don't have things like, well, this is always weird, when you have lane keep and lane centering right there, and adaptive cruise control, but, I'm sorry, lane centering, cruise control, but no adaptive cruise control. So it stays in its lane, and it stays going at whatever speed, but it doesn't change the speed when you come upon a car. That's kind of goofy, isn't it, Andre?
Well,
I feel
don't talk to me about cruise control, please.
I'm
Please
I'm
don't.
sorry. I feel like I'm rubbing salt in the wound. And then you're wondering, I'm sure all the comments are like, boo, no manual transmission. Why didn't we get a manual, Andre? First and foremost, it's part of our business because they're really hard to sell.
And also, it wasn't available at the discount that we had right there.
It wasn't available at discount. And then the first question that they asked me at Brighton Ford when we were trading ours in, is it stick or manual? And because we moved these cars on, the manual would be much harder to sell. And I got to tell you, I grew up driving manuals, and I love driving manuals in underpowered cars. But when you get into a lot of horsepower, the manuals are actually slower than the automatics, right? Because the automatics do a much better job of handling anything around 500 horsepower or more. You really want an automatic. It's just much quicker. 0 to 60, it's better fuel economy. And yes, it's less engaging, but we have a lot of other cars with manuals, like our Subaru Brat. Right? So if we want to be engaged, we've got that.
Yeah, so we have a couple comments. Also, Nathan is watching us right now.
Our Nathan?
Yeah, our Nathan. He was traveling, like we said. Hey, Nathan.
And hey, we've got a walk around from the 60th anniversary that he put together that we're going to put on our podcast channel, TFL Talk or Car Chat. So stay tuned for that. That's coming soon enough. And you'll get a real sense of what it was like being at the party for the Mustang. Go ahead, Andre.
Nathan wants us to rev the Nissan Sentra and see how that sounds.
Good one, Nathan. Well, it'll sound just like a Mustang.
No.
If it had a tiny four-cylinder in it, Andre.
Actually, a Mustang does come with a four-cylinder. It's a turbo. It's a turbo 4.
Yes, but come on, it's GT or nothing. You know that. All right, and then I love the steering wheel. The seating position is really chill. It's perfect for putting a shoulder, putting your elbow up on here, and just sitting back and listening to that wonderful throbbing heartbeat of the Coyote 5-liter and just cruising down an American highway. Do I want to take this on the racetrack? Hell no, I don't want to take this on the racetrack. This is a classic American muscle car, pony car, if you're a Mustang fan. I'm sure it goes around a corner, but you need the performance package for that, or you need the dark horse. This one is just for, taking a nice Sunday ride. And yes, it'll go into the mountains and it'll carve some canyons, but it's much happier in a straight line. And we basically bought it for drag racing this summer. So we've got a video coming out on alltfl.com where we drag race it against, I didn't do that video. Do we know what we drag raced it against, Andre?
Well, we had the Golf R.
Golf R.
Golf R, yeah.
And the Mercedes.
Yep. AMG.
Yeah. AMG, yeah. So that's coming up this weekend. So you'll see that if you just hang on. The interior's it's a little dark.
A little bit plasticky in some areas.
Yeah, this is kind of fake carbon fiber. Once again, fake carbon fiber. We have some cloth with some leather. This is also pretty hard. So there are nicer interiors. You can actually match the color on some of these accents to the exterior of the color. But then you're starting to get into Mustangs premiums that are like $65,000, and we felt like that was a little bit too much for what we wanted to do with it.
Yep, and we have a couple comments and questions.
All right, let's hop up. Yeah.
First of all, 60th anniversary is GT only, so V8 car only. As I mentioned, there is still the 4-cylinder turbo, which has 315 horsepower Roman. But like you said, when you compare the 4-cylinder turbo to the V8, the sound is not there, right? And I think, at least in my opinion, the Mustang is in big part, the sound is key to it.
Yeah, I mean, there have been 6-cylinders, there have been 4-cylinder turbos. Ford has done their best to sell those. as more economical, as more affordable, but at the end of the day, the GT is really the one that started it all.
And also, you said something from the track, right? When you drove several Mustangs on the track, the V8 cars like the GT500 and this one and the Dark Horse, they have some character to them that scares you, right? That car is just kind of big, it's a little bit heavier, it has so much power, it scares you. I've driven a turbocharged version of this and also the Camaro, for example, and it's a little bit more nimble, right? It's a little bit more lightweight, you can kind of throw it into corners, but it's not scary. And I think when you're buying a performance car, a part of it has to scare you, right? There's a small part of it.
I think that's true. Another cool thing is, you know, a lot of cars obviously have hood ornaments. And this one's got louvers, but they're functional, Andre. Look at that.
That is really cool.
Yeah, I don't know actually how much heat they vent, but it's nice that they actually went to the trouble of making them functional as opposed to just, you know, covering up the hood with sound deadening and then throwing this on top to make it look cool, which a lot of cars do too.
Nathan said of the 60th anniversary, there will be 1,965 of them made.
Makes sense.
And he ordered me one.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks, Nathan.
We don't know how much they cost yet, so.
No. I'm
betting at least 65, Andre. You better sell your truck quick.
Nathan, did you speak to my wife? Because I did not speak to her about this. So that is a surprise. There's another comment here. People want to know about the car that was just unveiled today, which is the Shelby Super Snake.
I know nothing about that. You know
I know a little bit about it.
Okay, good.
So it's basically this generation, right? The new generation of the Mustang. And you know what Shelby American does. You know, it makes them a little bit wider, supercharged, and those cars are rated at about 830 horsepower. Zach, our producer, I believe he's writing up a story about this on alltfl.com or tflcar.com. And of course, we haven't seen the Shelby Super Snake yet in person, but I think it's going to be as amazing as ever.
You know, Andre, I also love the fact that we've got Mustang branded brakes that are made by Brembo. If you want to show them over here, Cole, you can kind of see it over on this side. I think that's pretty cool. And you know, the brakes are an important aspect of a car that will easily do 100 miles an hour and, you know, get up to 150. The one thing Tommy doesn't like about our GT is that when he takes on the racetrack, he thinks over like 120 miles an hour it gets very light. In other words, it doesn't have a lot of aero. It does have a little tiny spoiler. You can get a much bigger spoiler, but he says this car, you know, starts to kind of fly literally when you start going above 3 digits on a straightaway. I haven't experienced that myself, but once again, this does not have the performance package, so you don't have all of the goodies that you would have with that.
By the way, I like the new tail lamp. I think they did a good job, in my opinion, with this cut here in the tail lamp and the kind of 3 vertical stripes, which harkens back to some of the classic Mustangs as well.
Yeah, and there was a big to-do about this latest generation because a lot of people said basically it's a facelift.
Yeah, a lot of people complained about it.
It's not really a full. It's like it's like a 0.5 change, not a complete new generation. Ford would beg to differ, and they're probably right because the bones of this go all the way back to I think 15,
several years,
15, 16, when the previous generation came out, if I remember right. But that's okay. Some people like the new look of it. It's certainly got like squintier headlights, a little bit more reptilian, much more kind of angled, much more square-jawed than the previous generation. I think without the change in the headlights, they would be hard to tell apart. So you can tell, like you said, the taillights, there's
the cut.
There's that cut, and there's a little bit of that cut in the front. But yeah, they're not exactly, off the grid with the new one compared to the old one.
All right, Nathan's getting on the plane, so thank you, Nathan.
Thank you,
He's
Nathan.
flying home.
All right, good, Nathan.
Come back, please.
Come back. Yeah, can't wait to see your video, Nathan.
Okay, so let's see. There's also a couple of questions about the GTD.
Okay.
So the GTD, I believe they announced pricing just this week. I mean, this is a Mustang week, right? Everything Mustang.
This is kind of a Jim Farley project, I believe.
Yeah.
He's a racer. He has a podcast now.
He's an enthusiast.
When do you have time to actually run the company?
Jim, maybe you should come on our podcast as well. Yeah. I listened to his podcast. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's cool.
And he's an enthusiast racer, and he teamed up with Multimatic,
Yep.
the company that many of us know for different reasons.
They built the previous GT.
They build shock absorbers for trucks.
Not Mustang GT, Ford GT.
Ford GT, yes. So they're building the car, and the starting price, I believe, is going to be $325,000 for the GTD because it has rear transaxle, it's got gigantic tires, supercharged engine, custom suspension, right? All that stuff.
That's a Shmee purchase.
Shmee.
Yeah, that's definitely a Shmee purchase.
And I think they're
TFL
probably
purchase.
all spoken for.
I bet
now,
you they are,
right?
yeah. You probably-
Because, I mean, they're not going to build very many of them, and they're very expensive, and there's a lot of wealthy people or enthusiasts who love that stuff, and they're probably all spoken for.
So here's what I've been thinking, and I'd love to get you guys' opinion on this and see what you think. I know this is going to sound very sacrilegious, but obviously Camaro, right? Right? The internal combustion
Challenger,
gone, and now we're seeing this whole new breed of electric. Dodge would say e-muscle cars, like the Charger that we went to preview.
Right.
Nathan just went on the Ioniq 5N. You know, and are we seeing, you know, the transition from internal combustion to electrification, and are Mustang guys and gals and, you know, internal combustion folk going to actually embrace or even adopt electrification? Because performance-wise, they're quicker. There's no doubt that an electric car with instant torque is going to be quieter. And the new Ioniq N does some really clever things. It actually approximates shifts. It actually can, you know, like this has a different
like an
gauge
8-speed, right?
Act like an 8-speed, has where you actually feel like a turbo, where between gears it slows down. And I know that's all kind of fake, because an electric engine, electric motor, sorry, doesn't need to do that. It's just, you know, linear power. But is that enough to convince any of you guys out there who love this old V8 that you want to switch? Because at the drag strip, those electric cars are quick. There's no doubt.
Yeah, well, the jury's still out. Nathan also drove the Ioniq 5N.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
so,
what I,
yeah, at Laguna Seca. And I wish I was there with Nathan. I wasn't. Hyundai did a good job. A lot of journalists and Nathan said, you know, he liked it, but it's a different experience, right? I mean, you don't have the V8 5-liter, you know, sound. You can't. I mean, you can put a speaker that puts out the sound, but it's not the same. You could hear the explosions happening in this engine, and that's very special.
This has a heartbeat, right?
Yeah.
And it feels alive. Electric cars tend to feel kind of soulless, and that, I think, is what people really don't appreciate about them. Because look, a lot of guys would say, and gals, I don't want to be sexist, would say that, you know, they love getting their hands dirty, but there's not, realistically, there's not a lot you can do here. For all you shade tree mechanics, you're not going to work on this engine.
You need the computer to read the codes.
To talk to a myriad of computers.
Yes.
You're not going to adjust the carburetor anymore. And if you want to do that, get yourself a 68. They're out there.
I want to thank Juan7500, who is a commenter here in the chat, but also Juan says he's been watching us for 10 years.
Oh, Juan, that's
so
wonderful.
Juan, thank you very much. He appreciates TFL. We appreciate you as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so, you know, without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. So that's why we're trying to do these live shows now, because we have faster internet, and we want to kind of make this more of a personal, where we can actually interact with some of our viewers and our fans. And this is your chance to do it. So thank you for joining us for this short live
Juan
show.
is asking if you still have your 911.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will we have videos of it?
Yeah, we bought a 911 Targa, ordered it 2 years ago. Finally got it about 6 months ago, just when the snow hit. And we've had a really bad snow year. It's snowing right now.
Well, that's why the car is wet.
That's why the car is
It's
wet.
not because we're washing it. It's because it's...
And that car was expensive.
Yeah.
It was $150,000, Andre.
So 3 Mustangs?
3 Mustangs.
That's a lot of money.
And it was, you know, it was honestly, it was also kind of, you know, something that I've always dreamed about owning. And I was able to finally, you know, I was going to say scratch that itch, but it's more like pat myself on the back with that one. And I understand it's very expensive, but we will race it against this. There's a lot of videos coming with that. We just haven't been able, heck, we put on 2,000 miles on it over the winter, because it's, you know, it's very nice and it's very expensive, and we don't want to really put it out in the snow.
Well, that Tacoma back there is also $45,000.
Yes.
Same price.
Yes.
And that has 6,000 miles.
Yes.
Because it's 4x4, it's a truck. We're using it almost every day. So we put a lot of miles on a lot of our vehicles. It just, the weather has to cooperate.
And we're waiting for a redemption video. So
Yeah.
we tried to actually go and take it back up where we initially had issues with it. And there was so much snow up there that we couldn't get through. So we're waiting for it to finally melt where we could go back up there and give it a second shot.
Juan also says that, Roman, for the company, you must buy the new Corvette ZR1 that's coming this year.
Yeah.
Well,
we went through 3 Corvettes last year.
Yes.
Was that 3 or 2?
Maybe 2?
2. We bought 2 Corvettes last year. So we bought the C5 and the C6. Remember we picked up the C5, you and me bought it.
In Grand Junction.
Yeah, and once again, you know, we're not Shmi. And that
We don't have a lot of that kind of money.
And we do have a Cybertruck coming, and that's going to be $100,000. So we're kind of out of budget for anything like the Corvette.
And plus ZR1, Roman, you know this. It's going to be sold out. It's going to be market adjusted, you know, marked up really heavily. So I don't think we can fight that fight.
And maybe
the
the better way to look at that ZR1 is if we actually did have that money, I think we'd be better off spending it on like a new Land Cruiser or a 4Runner or even the Lexus GX, because we do a lot of off-roading and that's kind of our world. And you could buy both, at least 2 of those for the price of that Corvette.
Yeah, and some people are joining just now. Yes, of course, this is a V8 car we're talking about here, the Mustang V8. We're also celebrating the 60th anniversary. April 17th was just yesterday, so 60 years of the Ford Mustang. By the way, the Mustang was never really off the market, right? Like the Camaro had a brake, you know, some other cars had brakes. The Mustang was being sold basically the entire time, which is very special.
Here, come here.
What?
Don't tell Andre about the Mustang too. Okay. All right. No, you're right. Yeah. It never went. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the
But
Mustang.
it was a Mustang.
No, Mustang too. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
It was always sold.
I would say that Ford would have been better off if they had not built the Mustang 2, Andre.
But they've recovered.
But the Fox body came back, and you know it became cool again.
Exactly. I love the Fox body Mustangs.
Look, this is what we love about these cars, and we're not fanboys of the Mustang or Camaro or Charger Challenger twins. In the traditional way, we review them, so we try to kind of, you know, be objective. But, you know, these cars are about as American as anything gets. In the past, America used to build really great luxury cars, and the Germans have taken that over, and Japanese. And so what's left to America, right? Economy cars, people think of Japanese cars, electric cars, Tesla, which is American.
Yeah, American.
So maybe we still have that, but you can't, you know, doubt that America still builds the most lustworthy muscle cars along with pickup trucks. Those are the 2 things that to me are like apple pie and hot dogs.
You also did a video recently with a Lexus IS 500, right?
Yes.
So that's the Japanese V8, basically. So America versus Japan. Somebody's Mazda 48 is talking about the IS 500 as well. Many. Thank you for joining our show. Tyler is here. Gary, Andreas.
And you know, here, I was talking to Tammy about this. We just recorded our podcast, and this is something I was thinking about. And like I said, we paid $45,000 for this. You just drove the Land Cruiser, which is also an iconic nameplate. How much does that start at?
56.
56.
57.
57,000. Yeah. That's a lot of money, Andre.
It is.
You could get a 486 horsepower muscle car, you know, for that.
But Roman.
And look how much utility you have. Let me show you. Actually, this is useless.
Well, the back seat is useless in the Mustang, by the way. I cannot sit in the back of a Mustang.
But look at the amount of room back here. Come on back here, Cole.
That's a good trunk.
Yeah, and the back seats do fold down, so you can put longer things in there like skis. I've got a blanket in there, but that's a lot of utility. You could almost use this if you weren't here in Colorado as a daily driver.
Well, except I can't put my left seat in here, you know, to move my house because this.
But you might be able to put a bike in there with the seats down.
Maybe a small bike, but this opening is kind of small. That's all I'm saying.
You could put skis in there if you're in Colorado.
Yeah.
So it's not an SUV like the Land Cruiser, but V8, incredible sound, incredible horsepower.
And fun,
And
right?
fun, yeah. It doesn't
That's a lot for the money.
yeah, it doesn't get much better than that, I would say. And the other thing I love about this car is this color. The blue just really pops.
And you're matching almost.
I did, yeah. I wore this just in, to help wish it a happy birthday.
But by the way, there is a comment here that the color of your shirt reminded somebody of our original first-gen Raptor.
Yes.
It was in blue.
It was
as
like
well.
it was like this.
It was basically almost like this.
Yeah.
So,
hey, so before we wrap this up, let us know if there's anything you guys like to see from TFL. Do you want to? Do you have your phone with you?
no.
You want to share what happened with? We did a video last week, I believe, saying we were at the end of our rope when it comes to buying the Cybertruck.
Right.
And then Tesla actually got back to us. Do you want to share what they said?
Oh, yes. So I'm going to paraphrase. They said that our Cybertruck, I got a text from the local office at Tesla in Denver area. And they said, your Foundation Series dual motor, they're showing that it will be produced this week.
But we haven't got a VIN yet.
But I checked this morning, there's no VIN. And they said it could be delivered within, by the end of this month, so by the end of April. But this is already April 18th, dude. So I don't know if I trust that text because the time is already moving on and nothing is changing.
And I heard they stopped production on Cybertrucks.
Because of the pedal cover falling off of it.
Yeah.
So there's a comment here that there's been a lot of Cybertruck videos already.
There has been, and there's one other thing that I found kind of painful, and that is one of the reasons we decided to buy the Foundation Series, which, by the way, did they lower the price? Because it's $20,000 more than the dual motor we got. And
Right.
part of that was $14,000 in full self-driving.
Which
And
is
they
not
lowered
available.
the price of full self-driving by like $7,000 this week. So did they lower the price of the Foundation Series by $7,000?
I did not get any text from it, so I wouldn't be able to tell you about this.
So
Their communication is really bad.
So we obviously ordered the Foundation Series, $20,000 over the $80,000, because Tesla said that they were going to build them first, and yet we
And deliver them by end of March.
Yeah, and we've heard from other people that they've bought non-Foundation Series
And got them delivered.
and got them delivered, and now they're telling us if we want the Foundation Series, what do they say?
So they said if you want to keep your order, you should be able to get your truck by the end of the month. If I asked, what if I switch it to a regular dual motor, not a Foundation Series, because we could save $20,000 and still get our truck? They said, oh, wait, no. They said the dual motor will be available at the end of the year. What? I thought it was the same truck. I thought it was the dual motor, the hardware is the same, the Foundation Series gives you a couple of visual,
They put Foundation Series like on the
stamps,
sides.
couple stamps.
And then they charge you $14,000 for full self-driving, which is now like $7,000.
Yeah.
And they charge you for a dual two-way charger that you can install in your house.
At your house, and maybe a couple of other small things.
And all this frustration comes from the fact that we're hoping to get the frustration other Tesla owners or potential Cybertruck owners are feeling. So we're hoping to amplify our voice, and that's why we keep kind of hammering at this. But yeah, it hasn't gotten any better. In some ways, actually, that email was worse because no truck and no ability to buy the one we actually wanted, which was, by the way, $39,000 when we ordered it. And maybe the answer, Andre, is we just finally walk away from it. And the only thing that's keeping me from walking away from it is the Cybertruck is one of the most significant new vehicles of the decade, if not, the century in a lot of ways. And so as a truck, as one of the premier truck channels, I kind of feel like we need to actually put it through its paces the way the TFL does. Even though everybody has done everything from shoot it, to jump it, to submerge it.
To put it on tracks or whatnot.
But we should ike it, and we should actually off-road it in a TFL manner so that you guys know if it's any good. So that's the only reason we're still sticking with it. But at this point, I would feel like if I were a normal customer, I'd probably just say, you know what, give me a Ranger Raptor for less money.
A lot of commenters, a lot of people here, Roman says that, to walk away. I mean, a lot of people say that. I mean, because a lot of things have been done to it, and also it's a little bit disappointing from what they originally promised. It is a bit of a disappointment. 150 Overland wants more Ranger Raptor. You're in luck. We are going to be publishing next week an iGauntlet with the Ranger Raptor. I just ran the mountain yesterday. We're currently editing that video. So Ranger Raptor, maximum trailer on the World's Toughest
How
Towing
much is
Test.
it? What's the maximum weight on that?
5,500 pounds. But it sounded good, right?
It did, yeah. You were strong until I asked you the question. Sorry.
Okay. Well, that's what it's capable of.
And then this weekend we've got our first new video series. You know, I used to do Cheap Jeep, and we've gone back to that. So we've taken, and I'm not going to spoil what they are, but we've taken 3 vehicles. Cole, I know you're getting tired. We'll end this soon. Our videographer, they're holding the camera. It's a lot of holding. We've taken 3 90s vehicles, and we're going to compare them by off-roading them, by doing a whole bunch of fun videos. So the first one of our new series called Go Big airs this weekend on TFL Truck.
Yep. So please come over this weekend and watch a lot of our videos because we have a lot of cool stuff coming up. Also, the Ranger Raptor from Moab with Cole and Tommy.
Yeah, we took it to Moab. And then perhaps the most interesting one is over on our Classics channel. Honda was so kind to lend us a 1984 Honda Civic with 69 miles on it, Andre.
69, just 69.
Yeah, absolutely pristine. And we have been working now for at least 2 months trying to get it running. And the first video in that series, you'd think it'd be easy. You know that car has something like 40 hoses going to the carburetor? 40, 40, not 4, 40.
I looked under the hood of that thing when Tommy and Case and Andy were working on it with Alex, and it looked like the brain. It looked like somebody opened somebody's head, and there was so much going on.
So we've taken the carburetor and put it back together now about a half a dozen times, and we'll need your help because at this point, well, we watched the video. We really need somebody who knows 1980s Honda Civic carburetors to help us out because we've
Andy's
really
getting there, isn't he? Or is he giving up?
It's always, he's not giving up, but it's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back to get it running. So I'm not going to wreck it. You'll see what happens.
So we still have our Cummins, somebody's asking.
Yes.
So we still have that in our fleet. Actually, Tommy recently did the fleet update. So check it out. I think last week we published it, alltfl.com.
We just used that Cummins when we bought our 1945 military Jeep, which is so cool. God, is that cool. That's my favorite car that we've probably bought in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And they towed that back with the Cummins. Great towing vehicle.
Yeah, so we still have the Cummins. By the way, there's more Ram news coming next week. I'm going to Detroit to see
the new
latest
TRX.
news. It's not the TRX. Don't listen to Roman.
Well, it kind of is.
RHO.
Really high output?
Very high output.
Well, that would be VHO.
I don't know. I don't know what it's. I asked.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't tell me yet. Anyways, stay tuned for more Ram news coming very soon as well.
All right. Any other questions before we wrap this up?
Oh boy. Well, a lot of people said that we should probably invest our money maybe not in Cybertruck but something else. Somebody wants to learn about how EPA does their testing. Well, it's not very exciting.
No.
Because the manufacturer submits a lot of the data to the EPA
Actually,
government agency.
the manufacturers do the testing.
Yeah.
The EPA doesn't do the
And
testing.
EPA signs off on it, or sometimes they do test.
Yeah. Well, we know a lot about that because of Dieselgate. So they put the car on a rolling road, as the British would say. Or
Our
dyno,
Ram
as we say.
Cummins, we didn't get any sort of recall, any special recall done on our truck yet. So our truck is still running great without any latest updates. That's about it.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us for this live show. We got a lot of fun videos coming up this weekend. As always, this is Roman and
Andre.
saying we'll see you next time. What's in that box, Andre? What's this big thing in this box?
Oh, yeah, this is a secret.
What's in here? Oh, we got a secret.
See, TFL Studios, Boulder. No, this is actually something coming next
tent,
week. It's a tent.
Yeah. Oh,
It's a tent. It's not a secret.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Next week, we'll show you another rooftop tent.
And then probably people want to see the Nissan. Well, anybody wants to see the Nissan?
Well, we showed the this Nissan?
Yeah, that's Nissan.
Well, it's a Sentra SR. It's the highest performance Sentra, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, but it's got one thing that isn't so high performance.
What?
It's got a CVT, Andre.
Oof.
Oof. Oof.
Anyways, we do have a Sentra. We're doing some videos with it.
It's locked.
Well, yeah, it's in our
studio. Locked. Yeah. So that's coming as well. And then, of course, more with the Tacoma. And finally, I'm going to say goodbye for the 4th time.
And for the 5th time, goodbye.
Ciao.
Thanks for joining us.